Primal Chaos. Hey everybody, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Listen, today we're going to be checking out another BlackPink song. And, you know, these guys are really exciting. In fact, this whole rabbit hole I'm falling down of, you know, J-pop and K-pop and stuff like that was, when I started this journey, it wasn't really what I had intended. But, you know, I started seeing some of those numbers on YouTube, like 1.5 billion views. This particular one has 1.7 billion views. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't explore that and sort of try to fundamentally understand why. What's the attraction with guys like, you know, BTS or acts like BlackPink? What's happening there? And I'm sort of starting to get a feel for it. I understand these acts are very versatile. And, you know, very diverse, and there's a whole machine behind them that, I mean, essentially doesn't allow them to fail, right? Everything's done, all the T's and I's are crossed and dotted to make sure that this is like the absolute benchmark of what pop music and pop production is. And so, you know, this has been super interesting for a guy like me who for many, many, many years has just been absorbing popular music in a way, you know, in a way to sort of understand what makes something popular and what makes something work. If only just from an area of curiosity, you know. So anyway, I'm going to jump into this one. This is BlackPink, Kill This Love. But right before I do, I just wanted to bring to your attention my merch store. Rather than using a sponsor, I'm starting to try and back myself. So if you guys like what I do here, check out the merch store. I've got it right here. You can see, got a bunch of stuff up there. T-shirts, like rock T-shirts, some, you know, everything from, you know, progressive music to pop music, things like that, inspired merchandise. Plus I got some cool shoes, hats, things like that. Check it out. That's kind of how I'm trying to support the channel now. And it'd be really cool. You can actually grab this shirt right there. Designed it myself. So anyway, I'm going to jump right in. BlackPink, Kill This Love. Here we go. Oh, right off the bat, huh? Oof, really interesting production. The beat production is so on point. That's a switcher. All right, that's the hook. Okay. All right, I'll jump back to this part. But yeah, so far this has been super interesting. I love it when you take something that's as common as, you know, beat production, right? Like people, you know, you go on TikTok and you'll see there's this in your, well, at least in the case of my TikTok algorithm, it's just a whole bunch of people who make beats and you know, to varying degrees of proficiency and stuff like that. But you know, as a producer who creates beats to go behind stuff like this, like pop production and stuff, you know, there's a way of doing things. There's a way of, you know, there's two types of artists. Ones that will follow what's going on in the zeitgeist and try to match that because they feel success is to produce something that's similar to what you're hearing on the radio in your favorite songs, right? That to some people is success. To other people, it's let's push beyond that boundary and come up with something unique and different that stands out from the crowd, that has all of the elements, you know, that you immediately hear it and go, oh my God, that's a cool drop, or wow, that's really like just a great, interesting new rhythm. But then, you know, for some people, that's just, you know, sitting in amongst the crowd of amazing production isn't enough. Sometimes people like to push through that barrier and get to a place where they're doing something that's unique and different, but is immediately recognizable as still cool within the zeitgeist, right? And that's what I'm hearing here. There is some really interesting sort of movement to the rhythms and stuff like that. Like it's kind of swung, and then it takes that complete left turn around here somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, like right here. This, it's almost like a completely different song. It was just chopped and dropped in. Like even the tempo is different. Like there's an implied sort of pulse to it. Like it's just like da 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 da, and then you can hear that come in here with the extra snare drum rhythm. And this section you'll notice is very musical as well. It's got a lot of like harmonization. Most of it's implied, but there's, you know, like you can hear the musicality of it swelling up underneath the vocal. Whereas with these ones, the concept is soundbitey kind of snappy samples underneath something with like cool bassy like kick drum hits and orchestral hits and things like that. It's almost like the antithesis of music, right? It's more like just rhythm and texture. And then they just go boom straight into a really musical part of the song. And you know, it's interesting too because it doesn't blow out to be like a fast, catchy rhythm that you would expect a hook or a chorus to be. You know, it's sort of it almost feels like it slows down. It loses momentum, but that in of itself is an interesting choice, right? It actually feels different. It's kind of like almost like you hit the brakes and you're in slow motion all of a sudden, and then it goes back to that really aggressive kind of more like punchy and textural kind of production after that. So let's just jump back in. I don't want to miss where I was up to. Have we been through all this? I'm going to jump back a bit further just to make sure. Here we go. I also love how it's utilizing all the different ladies' voices as well. That horn section is so audacious.
I go crazy, thank you, baby. I'll eat all to you. Got me all messed up. His love is my favorite, but you plus me sadly can be dangerous. Lucky you, 결국엔 거짓말 we lie. So what? 만약에 내가 널 지우게 된다면 so sorry. I'm not sorry. 나 어떡해?
Cool, man. The little squeaks at the end, it's everything, man.
We all commit to love that makes you cry.
Now there's a marching rhythm. Like, what? Interesting way to bring the song out. That's really cool. Like it's almost like it dropped into like a middle eight or a bridge, but then that's the end of the song. I guess you could call it like an outro sort of passage, but that's really interesting. When that marching drum comes in, I'm like, what was the impetus behind that? From the production point of view, you're like, what do we need here? Let's do something different. Let's throw like a marching snare drum. And now it seems like a call to arms. You know what I mean? Like it's like, let's get the troops together. That's kind of what they're implying there. You know, kill this love, let's do it. You know, they're bringing the attitude as a group. And that's kind of, it's cool how they're kind of implying that just by using a subtle difference in the choices in the rhythm section, right? Look, to be honest with you, like the video clip is stellar. I assumed it was going to be. That these guys don't muck around as far as budgets go. But you got to hand it to the production designers for these acts. Where do they keep coming up with new and interesting and fresh ideas, right? Like when you consider somebody had to make this acrylic art piece and then someone had to come up with the idea of like wearing it as a headpiece and then building this whole shot around it that sort of accentuates it and just seems to make it fit as if it was designed that way, right? And it probably was. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that that's an off-the-shelf acrylic headpiece. But yeah, like as usual, the attention to detail on this is phenomenal. The girls are bringing the attitude that I've come to expect now, like from this sort of stuff. Like there's nothing there that I'm going, oh, that was something I wasn't expecting. But they do what they do really, really well. And so you kind of want to hear more of it, right? Let's hear how they take it this angle and that angle. But the production is kind of what really jumps out to me in that it's just such interesting choices, like bringing in that horn section. They got it in the intro, but also in the chorus. It's just so strident and in your face. And I guess that kind of plays hand in hand with the marching snare because it's like the trumpet sounding, right? And that's what it is. It's like a trumpet hit, sort of, bop, 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 you know. And it is. It's kind of got this military style aggression to it, you know, or like, you know, a lot of times trumpet hits like that are used in techno and stuff like that as like something to just kick out from the mix and just sort of, again, feel like a call to arms. And it's used really gracefully, as strident and obnoxious as that sound is. It's so deftly positioned into this piece in a way that just makes it work really, really well. It's like you can't miss the chorus. It's like, here it is. And then to just bust into slow motion there, it's all, everyone's doing $1 million job, you know? What I really like too from the performance perspective, like vocally, is that, you know, they have a kind of a unique sound in that what they're doing is kind of that pop R&B fusion thing that, like, you know, people like Rihanna and stuff like that are known for. But it's kind of they bring their own attitude to it and little inflections and little things like that just sort of, I can't help but feel that it's coming from that K-pop background rather than the Western influence of the genre of this kind of music, right? They're sort of imbuing it with a little bit more of their own cultural texture that is kind of part of what makes this really interesting as well, because it doesn't sound like a Western production, even though a lot of the elements are the same. And I think that's cool. I think that, you know, particularly been listening to a lot of like J metal and J rock and J pop and K-pop and things like that lately. And what I'm finding is that harmonically, like as far as coming up with chord progressions and choices and just the general musicality, a lot of times the genre is similar, but a lot of this Asian sort of regional production tends to make bolder choices as far as, you know, chord choices and things like that, like as far as where they take their chord progressions and things like that, or leaning into more classically influenced things rather than, you know, Western rock is pretty much just power chords for the most part, you know. And so you end up with a lot more creative chord progressions and things like that, which I find to be really interesting. But yeah, anyway, look, what else can I say? This was $1 million production, multi-million dollar production, let's be honest. You know, everybody, like I said, are all doing $1 million job, from the choreographers, set designers. I said this on the last video. The performers themselves, the standouts, they do a really good job. But, you know, whoever's choreographing it and whoever is coming up with the concepts and dressing them and lighting them and doing whatever, the guy who created the beat, or the guy or girl who created the beat, whoever was producing it, or whatever, everybody is doing the absolute best of the genre. It's as simple as that. There's no weak links. And yeah, I'm happy to sit here and witness that kind of level of work. You know, it's so good. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. If you feel like I've brightened your day at all, feel free to support the channel just by buying me a coffee or even just checking out the merch site. It's at primalchaos.com, Prymal chaos.com. And yeah, you'll find something there hopefully that you like. I'm going to add to it pretty much every week. I love designing stuff for that thing. So, you know, I'll always be putting up new stuff. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, whatever, all that sort of stuff. Hit the bell. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks again for recommending this one. Actually, I hadn't seen this one when I was scrolling through, and I appreciate it. So thanks again. Stay primal, and I'll catch you on the next one.